Hello and welcome to the second edition of The False Nine, the decoy centre forward of podcasts, deliberately set up without a dedicated striker. Some ask, are we bringing a pinch of Potter magic? Oh, do you like that, lads? To proceedings, or are we being a bit rash to suggest Lampard's going to get sacked in the morning? The first weekend of Premier League action has just been completed. Chelsea fans are zooming home. So from here in the broadcast centre in Waterford, Ireland, we're going to drop deep tonight, back into midfield, create sparkling moments of football chat for you wherever you are in the world. My name's Damien Tiernan. I have three lone false strikers in front of me, looking a bit forlorn, but they're looking for the ball. You're doing well, lads.
Nice.
Adam Martin, how's it going?
How's it going, Damien?
Thanks for joining us again.
No problem at all.
How's it going, Colin Herbert?
Very good, Damien.
Alan Reynolds, how are you doing?
I'm great, thanks.
Just back from Kildare?
Yeah, we are indeed, yeah.
How was the road back, all right?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I was in a rush to get back for you. All good, though.
Fair play to you. No hassle. Thanks very much. We've just watched Man United. I don't suppose you were able to catch any.
No, we have it on the bus, actually, but the coverage wasn't great there. We'd have a link and it'd be connected to it, but
dropping in and out,
I wouldn't be interested in watching them now.
Who do you support?
I'm a Liverpool man.
It's okay.
Yeah,
that man beside you there is Liverpool as well.
Good
Colin's
stuff.
a big Liverpool fan. Colin, just to remind people, you did a bit of work in the past with St Kevin's boys. You were their strength and conditioning coach, and you were getting young lads ready for getting trials over in England.
Correct.
Any of them do any well, or was your strength conditioning completely useless?
No, I wouldn't say it was completely useless. I hope not. Most of the lads are actually in the League of Ireland now that I played with. Jack Byrne, I would have worked with. He had a good go. Didn't fully make it, but look, he's a great footballer, and I think Shamrock Rovers is a great spot for him now, and he can get his career going again. But a few lads that were on the Leeds team. No one that's broken through into the first.
And
team
who'd be your
anyway.
favourite League of Ireland team now?
Well, it was St Patrick's Athletic growing up in Dublin, so I suppose St Pat's would. I'll have to stick with them. I can't really deflect from them. No
They're
offense,
taking their spot in
No
Europe.
offense,
Oh, what a team to pick. What a thing this is.
God.
I have to be honest.
Benny, do you want to leave now? You can head off now if you want.
I thought St Pat's have done much in the last few years anyway. So
That's true. That's true. And they didn't do much in Europe either.
No, they certainly didn't. So it's not.
We would have beaten that Swedish team.
Yeah, that's their job. Adam Martin, what do you think of Man United?
Strangely impressed, Damien, I have to say.
You're a City fan now.
Yeah, I don't like saying it now, to be honest with you. But Maguire, great game. I think he got man of the match. Chelsea, though, is more the questionable thing. They were terrible from start to finish. Just didn't really know what they were doing.
And they weren't that bad. They hit the woodwork twice.
Still, 10 minutes was about all they had in the whole game. The first goal went in, they gave up. You know, it could have been more, really. The back four they had there, like Louise gone. You just look at it maybe with Lampard, right, first game. I know it's away at Old Trafford, obviously a massive game, but it's a bigger job, I'd say, than he thought he had.
What do you think, Colin?
Well, I think that's a little bit unfair on Chelsea. I think I would have given Chelsea a good 20 minutes. I think the penalty was a massive turning point in the game.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's just reckless by Zuma. There's absolutely no need for him to be putting in that tackle. And, I mean, if that was schoolboy level, you'd have probably substituted him. You know, it's absolutely headless. And it's not good enough for a Premier League level. So I think after that, the heads dropped and they went shaky, and then Man United built confidence in it. But I think if it went in, it was looking like it was going to go to half time 0-0. And I think if they started the second half 0-0, I think it might have been a different story. But all credit to United. When they got their goal, it lifted them. They put their foot down and they got the performance in. So
Rashford was given the penalty duty, taken off Pogba. Would you be surprised with that, Alan?
No, like I suppose you're a number 9, you're a striker, you want if you can get him off the mark early and he gets confidence and he pushes on. So that's maybe the thinking behind it. Maybe just
I wonder. Go on.
Get rid of Pogba.
That's
maybe.
the thing, yeah. This whole thing that Pogba might still go. The transfer window in Europe is still open. And the influence in the team and all that sort of stuff, that you make Rashford, once Lukaku's gone, you make Rashford your focal point. Like Martial was playing and is the number 9.
I've seen one of the goals. I'm not sure Martial's goal. Was it the second or third?
Second,
yeah.
But it was a counter attack.
Yeah, bundled it in.
Yeah, and they broke really quick. I think it was Martial played it wide to whoever. And then I was looking at it. I didn't see much, only seen the goal. And I was going, why Lukaku was gone? Because they're looking at adding pace. And you're talking about United getting the first goal. That obviously Chelsea had to push on and left himself open to the counter-attack, because that's the way it looked like from that goal. And if Lukaku couldn't run like the lads could, that's probably a reason why he goes.
And yet he had this tweet there last week before he left that he was the fastest guy on the team and Shaw was the slowest. There is one big issue with United, and it was very obvious. That left wing, that Shaw position, like Wan-Bissaka played really well, okay? And that right defensive structure could be good. If you're going to attack United, you hit them down on the left. The first 20 minutes, Rashford wasn't tracking back. There was 5 or 6 chances down that wing. It was obvious. And yet Shaw was United's best player in the season last year, but he was taken apart because he'd no cover.
I think he enjoys the off-season, is that right?
Yeah, he looks like he puts on a bit of weight anyway. Yeah.
He's just a stocky lad, but you can't look at him and think, he looks heavy, like he is top heavy, but I think he's just a broad lad, big boned as they say.
I think I've seen a picture of him there a couple of years ago, and he's a bit of the Wayne Rooney about him.
He does.
He enjoys and blows up.
Yeah. No Higuain anyway. He enjoys the whole season, doesn't he?
Chelsea, on a serious note, as Adam said it there, Chelsea do look like they're going to struggle because, like, Abrams up front, I don't know what he's going to do. He's not a great striker.
It's a very inexperienced Chelsea team from what they've had previous.
Yeah.
I mean, even Abraham's 20.
Yeah.
Big deal wearing the number 9 for Chelsea as well. When lads previous to him.
He had a good effort.
They're not bad. Now they're playing Leicester next week.
Okay,
they're at home to Leicester next week. That'll be a big game for them and a good test for them. So today, the opening game of the season, United have won their first opening games of the season for the last 5 seasons. Doesn't mean that you're going to have a good season, but it was important to
get. Did they not win the league today? No.
They did, yeah.
No, that was Liverpool won a Friday night.
Yeah.
But it was the experienced lads that let them down. I mean, Pedro, and I've been a big fan of Pedro, especially in his Barcelona days, but today he was absolutely hopeless.
Pedro must be 48 years of age at this stage, though.
Close enough.
Easily.
He's
going a long time.
Today. He definitely showed it today. And I mean, Jorginho was a little bit loose in midfield. He made a few tackles, gave a few short passes like he always does, but there was nobody really in midfield that was willing to grab the game with a
If
scruff.
you look at Hazard going, I mean, he was the one who made him anyway different to any of the other teams last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just shows you how good a player he really is.
You take
an X factor, though.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And then, for all the people giving out about him, you take out David Luiz out of that defence, you have some kind of I don't rate David Luiz, but they had some structure there. Today they looked once the counter-attack happened, they were in trouble.
It's a strange one, him going, isn't it? Like, he came back to him from somewhere else.
From PSG, yeah.
Yeah, he seems to spend a season or two with him and move on, and that I found that very strange.
And to go to your big rivals in Arsenal as well.
While, so close to the deadline. There sounds like there's more to it, that maybe behind the scenes he isn't as good as he should be, but I just find it strange he's moved on. He couldn't wait to get back to Chelsea. Yeah. And now he's gone again.
What do you think of Liverpool the other night?
Again, I didn't see it. I was up watching Cork and Cabinteely. How many sins? I went to extra time.
What do you think of Cabinteely?
Excellent. But I watched Liverpool in the Charity Shield or Community Shield, whatever it's called now, but look, they're impressive, aren't they, going forward? And I'm just hoping they hit the ground running, because some of the players seem to come back late. Manny hasn't come back, the keeper come back and he gets injured. So I just was wondering whether they'd hit the ground running, and it looked like they did.
Norwich actually put in a good performance.
I actually was quite impressed with Norwich, to be honest with you. Well. They tried to play. They had 3 or 4 chances even.
They had an open game. And
they had a go at them. And
they won the second half. They were the better team.
Which is crazy. That's crazy. This thing Sky Sports came out with the other night, and Norwich won the second half. Like, they still got hammered. Do you know what I mean?
At the end of the day, it wasn't.
It could be nice and all that, but you got hammered, lads.
You wonder, the Norwich one, from what I'm hearing, that they went and attacked and had a go at it.
They did.
And we're 4-0 down at half time.
Yeah.
What is that like? Is it madness to go and you might come away and say, "Oh, look, it looked easy in the eye," or else they've gone, "Well, that's one we're not going to win.
Yeah,
we'll have a go."
Is he looking at games he's going to lose and say, "Well, we never had a hope anyway in that game"? But
does it bring any questions, Colin, from Liverpool's defensive point of view, that a team that's not as experienced as Norwich can create 7 chances in the first half?
Well, you might put it down to rustiness. I thought Alisson looked very off the boil anyway. He didn't really seem to be controlling stuff in the box, and he would put a few errant passes very early, and then he goes and he pulls up with his calf. So I don't know whether he was just not ready, and I think you need your keeper to be there. He's not back.
I think it was more serious. I think it's an Achilles, really. Like, he said he felt like something hit him, or felt like someone threw something at him, which is a real sign of a pop.
Well, they still haven't disclosed any information on it, so we're all kind of left to wonder.
I see the report, it was 4 to 8 weeks. That sounds like my physio. He'd given himself every chance there, isn't it? 4
He is a bit up there,
You like those physios, do you?
But I think you're integrating Joe Gomez back into the centre of defence with Virgil van Dijk as well, and you have to have the connection with him and Trent Alexander. So it's a work in progress. But when the game is over after half an hour, you can't really complain.
It was good for fantasy football, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
triple captain Salah, load of points. Origi up front. Okay, that's fantasy football.
Do you have them? You do.
Oh yeah. And then they're gone for next week.
Then they're gone for next week. Yeah. Who else do you have?
Who else? I had the new guy from Spurs, actually, the new midfielder.
Dembele.
Yes, can't pronounce his name. That chap. Yeah.
Fabulous. Yeah.
Looks a good player, actually.
He's really, really strong. Excellent. And he took that goal really well for Spurs.
All around performance is fantastic. Very calm and composed on the ball as well for a big guy, you know. You're expecting him to
he's a bit Yaya Toure-ish.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Just without maybe not the size. Like Yaya Toure was a huge 6'4" man, big man weight-wise and everything else, but a bit of a brain about him. Even the way he kind of ran it and looking for different options. The goal he took was phenomenal.
Amazing,
you know.
Do you ever, just on the physio thing, do you ever get anybody, obviously not naming names, lads that would be taking the piss, lads that you'd say, he's not really injured, come on, over the years?
Back in the day, you might have. Now it's a little bit different. You know, you might be looking at up in Derry, Finn Harps, games like that. You're going, here I might throw one in. Now, I wasn't bad at it myself now when I played, but my one was getting yellow cards. And when I was playing, we used to play in the winter.
Yeah.
And I used to happen to get suspended around Christmas time, unfortunately, and I was able to enjoy my Christmas. So I'm not sure about nowadays whether they'd fake injuries. I think a lot of them are softer now, for sure. But
is it faster? Is it a lot faster, or is it just perceptions? No,
I don't know. The game is different now. It's all possession based, and like if you were to go in and be a coach, and if you said to them, "We're going to play the Jack Charlton style," say if it went that way. The players would look at you now and go, what are you doing? But yet, that Jack Charlton style might be effective. There's different ways of playing games. There's different ways of winning games. So now everyone wants to play out from the back and play, and I do it myself. But I'm often thinking, do you know what, this isn't working. Just go and get a big striker, hit him. But they'd be, that'd be alien to him now.
Yeah.
So
even the FAI, they look to implement the 4-3-3, don't they, from junior level now? So like that's what we're trying to press.
And all play through the thirds and all this shit. But there's different ways. You're losing the game. It's 10 minutes to go. It doesn't change. Get the ball in the box. Probably get your centre back up there, whatever way it was. Like so.
What is wrong if you're playing against a team that aren't great at the back in terms of heading the ball defensively, and you've got, say, a Niall Quinn or whatever equivalent of a Niall Quinn is in today's game, Andy Carroll, and sticking him on the full back and launching the ball at him and getting the ball in the box and creating a chance. And
Sam Allarday's got a whole career out of that, and it worked.
Like John Caulfield was down in Cork, and he had Marco Sullivan, which I had, and he's another midfielder, Gary Buckley, and they were direct. I'm not going to say John, but they were really effective and they won things. And John was getting a little bit of stick about the style of play, but here they were, like, getting results, winning the cup, winning the league, and like, I don't know, like, I like to play, don't get me wrong, but there has to be another way.
There's no point playing fantasy football, unless you're going to get the results. No point. That brings me nicely into Sheffield. Talk to me about your love of Sheffield, Adam.
There is no love of Sheffield after that. Yeah, well, you texted me and told me to watch it, but it was
how you nearly want to bury yourself.
Like how they can get highlights out of some of them games. I mean, Jesus. Like, in fairness, there's 5 Irish lads on the team, so in that sense, it was good to see Callum Robinson was at Preston last year. He's gone. The 2 lads at the back, John Egan and Enda Stevens. But look, it was 2 teams that were going, right, a draw. We'll take a draw here, and we're happy enough. But like two chances, 2 goals, 2 awful goals. Either side, but like 2 teams that are just happy to be in the league, I think.
You're laughing there, Colin.
No, he's absolutely right. But tell Billy Sharp that's an awful goal, because he's a guy. But schoolboy level. We were just come up through all the divisions with him and got to score a Premier League goal that levelled the game and got his team points. So it means something to guys like them. I know it wasn't great to watch, and it wasn't a great advertisement for Premier League football. But at the end of the day, that guy's going to go home with the biggest smile on his face ever, and good for him.
Did you see any of the match of the day highlights or any of those goals?
No, I didn't. I seen one of the goals, Billy Sharp's goal, as you're talking about. But it's interesting on the Sheffield United. I think early in the season last year they played a formation or whatever it be, but they changed to 3 at the back, 2 wing backs and 2 strikers. And I'm wondering if they'll stick with it. They went on a run of so many games, didn't they, last year?
Yeah.
So I wonder will they stick with it.
Well, we were talking about it the other day about this idea of the centre backs literally going forward, bombing forward, and it helped them last year. But once a team, it's like United have a certain formation now, and they've got Solskjaer knows what he's going to do. Other teams are going to be able to counteract that. A good manager will get players in certain positions to counteract that. So you can only do that for a certain amount of time. Yeah,
but like you work in your own way of playing during the week, but then you have to give credit to the opposition. Like today when we played, they dropped off. They had 11 men in their own half come and break us down. That's hard to do, and you get frustrated the longer it goes on. So sometimes you have to give credit to the opposition, and they'll find a way of hurting United. Well, the bigger teams will.
Silly question. How do you break down 11 men at the back? Do you literally ping it left and right across? Do you go wide? What do you do?
Jesus. I don't know how you break it down, but...
What did you do today? You just kept plugging away?
Yeah, you were trying to get around the sides of them and get crosses in because everyone was crowded in the middle. So I think if you try and play through the middle, you're asking for trouble. You know, you need to have Messi or something like that to unlock that. So the way we would look is try and go around the sides of them, get and your full back and your winger, whichever be, get crossing the box and attack it. So that's one way, or else maybe leave them attack once or twice. If they can catch them on the counter attack. But they were well drilled, to be fair, today. So that's a way that you would look at it.
Arsenal got an L result today, 1-0 away from home. Not bad.
Yeah, played well. They brought on a couple of the new lads there with 15-20 minutes to go. But they could be surprise package this year, Arsenal, to be honest with you. A lot of people are shouting for Chelsea. I know it's only one game in, but Arsenal, on paper, could have a very good side.
Yeah.
Just at the back, you'd be David Luiz. He's going to do something silly at some stage.
Are they better than last year?
I think they are. I think Pepe, their front three, it could be, we were saying it, like Kevin Keegan style Newcastle, they could end up scoring lots.
They will, yeah. They'll be an entertaining team this year.
Could be entertaining. I think they're stronger.
I mean, they've got a good defensive coach in Unai Emery as well. You know, I mean, he's a guy who could definitely get them organised and into a position where they can hold at the back and utilise the front three and not just have scatterbrain games where it's 4-3, 5-3, whatever. So I think, for now, you definitely put them in the top four, and it'd be interesting to see how they develop over the season. They could maybe be even stronger than that, Just depends on injuries as well.
The big surprise for me over the weekend was Brighton. 3-0 away. That's some score.
And I suppose with Chris Hughton going as well, who's done some job there.
Yeah.
So he needs to get off to a good start there, because I think that's a tough gig.
People would be saying, like, after Hughton went, they'd be saying, there's no way another manager's going to come in and get something. But 3-0 away from home. Now, he got lucky in some respects, the second two goals. But he's like, Watford had fancied their chances this year. They did well last season. Yeah.
Might be the second season with them, though. They only came up last year and done well, and they might get dragged down, mightn't have as good a season.
This guy Potter is supposed to be, when he was managing the team in Sweden, he used to bring them on sleigh riding classes and all sorts of stuff.
He's got a master's in human behavioural studies. That's why he does all that.
There's a few lads you'd like to bring on.
I'll leave him off, cut him loose.
Keep going, lads. Head up to the...
I'll give you a shout.
Are you into any of that psychological...
It's
what's your best psychological trick now, or what's the best thing you've ever brought players on, or team building, team bonding?
It's hard, at times. If you went away in a training camp, sometimes I get people in to do it, that type of way. I might be a bit old fashioned in it, that I don't mind the one of going for a few points.
What do you mean you might be? You are old fashioned.
Yeah, so the one of, go for a few points, relax, enjoy yourself. And even the case of the staff go with you, because then the staff get to see things that they would normally see, or vice versa, in some cases. But
are lads a bit coy? Would you try and get them drunk and try and get them to say a few things, or would you try and...
I'd be just worried about myself, what I'd say. That's the thing. But there's all different ways, isn't there? Yeah. But it's just trying to get the time and
because it's important for Waterford, and it was last season with the lads coming in and different lads, and they talked about that team building and the bonding that goes on, and it's so important. Colin with St. Kevin's and stuff like that, I know it's only young lads, but from the club in general, you got a lot of young lads and different players coming in from around the country into St. Kevin's, so that team building and bonding is important,
Yeah, I mean, it's a high level like that, and you got these kids that are sitting on the bench that would start in probably any other schoolboy club around the country, like Rennie would know, a lot of it's man management. You have a team, absolutely, but I mean, and as well, Damien, from coaching, at the end of the day, each guy is a different individual. Each guy, you get the best out of him in a lot of different ways. Some guys need a kick up in the arse, some guys need a hug, some guys need a pint. It's just, everybody is different, and it's your ability to manage all those personalities and get them to meld together. That's what's effective.
I was actually talking to Damien Delaney when he was here with us about Tony Pulis, and he loved Tony Pulis. But every day he'd go in training, he'd be sitting with the lads who weren't playing, and they didn't cop it at the start. As it went on, they said, "Geez, he's always with them." And Damien went and spoke to him. How come you sit with them? Well, he said, "You're in the team. If you're not on my side, I've no chance. They're not in the team, and they're the most important ones to manage, I suppose, because they're feeling it, they're not playing. Whether they want to talk to you is another thing, but it's something. It's just the most important ones for me are the ones that aren't playing. because they can find it hard. And then, depending on the character, the group will be dragged down. But last year I agreed, and I think characters are going out of the game because of these phones. You're going into dressing rooms, going in anywhere. Everyone's on the phone, the head down. And so I had a rule last year and this year that before training there's no phones. So you talk about team building. So if I don't have that rule in, there's 20 fellas all on their phones. That's what I'd see. But now that I have no phones and they have to talk to each other, and that creates, say they're like Sebastian Heary, another lad Kazi Akanade, they're all characters. But you might be lucky to get 4, maybe 5 in the dressing room. And I've lost those 4 or 5 this year. So you're trying to build and create something then.
You want to have a joker in the dressing room.
Yeah, you need a couple, and they're harder to get, I find it hard to stay out of the dressing room.
Speaking of getting teams to kick up the arse, Adam, do you think Everton need a bit of a kick up the arse?
Well,
0-0 away to Palace.
Yeah, but it's look,
Palace are shite.
They are, but Palace. Look, they're in a weird situation with Zaha there. He's on the bench. He nearly joined the team he's playing against. Yeah. The fans kind of half hate him. I think he was getting booed. Some of them were booing when he was warming up and stuff. But look,
when he came on, the ultras they said right, he's there now.
He's a top class player. If he's worth 60-70 million or whatever they're offering, but Everton will come better than what they are. I think it's just, again, he's now favoured to be sacked actually as the Everton manager. After the essay. Well, he spent a lot of money.
Too right. Yeah.
I've got to ask you a very serious question, lads. And people talk about, is there a God, and metaphysical questions.
Very deep now.
We're getting very deep. The most important philosophical question that anybody can ask is, how the F is Benteke still playing football? How is he still playing?
Again, coming back to Damien Delaney talking about, I was quizzing him about
Benteke.
Yeah, and being at Liverpool and the centre back that they had at Liverpool. What's his name?
Sacco.
Yeah. And I was asking him, about him. He said you could see why Klopp, the first thing, get rid of him. He said they won't work hard in training at all, and it was out the door. So he's obviously passed on, and he's still not working as hard as he should be. But
that's 30 million. He cost 30 million.
Benteke.
He
scored
Liverpool
4 goals or something in 3 seasons. Yeah. Like, seriously, a striker.
I know.
Like, I was watching some of the highlights of Match Today, and he was waiting for the ball, and then the ball wasn't coming to him, and he wasn't running into the space, and they highlighted it afterwards, and he's literally, the hands are out going, like, seriously, Colin, how is he still playing?
I have no idea, Damien. I mean, he offers no mobility, he has no real pitch awareness, he doesn't even seem to have a good strike of the ball when he gets it. Unless it hits him directly on his head and goes in the goal, I don't really understand what he offers to any team. Look, as a Liverpool fan, I've seen us buy some players throughout the years, as you have any as well. We were only talking about a few.
Who's the worst player that Liverpool ever bought?
Your man Jovanovic is up there. Andre Vornin scored 5 goals in pre-season, and then I don't know what happened to him.
Adam is laughing here.
I've just been a few, Damien. Your man, who did we trade Michael Owen for? Your man, the right winger that we did that swap deal. We gave them Michael Owen and we got him.
Aquilani, do you remember Aquilani?
Oh
my God.
Great player when he wasn't injured.
25 million, never played a game. Out on loan, off you go.
But Benteke, he was playing at Manu today.
Yeah.
On the bench, probably.
But Roy Hodgson is he's the most.
I made some bad ones myself now before you move on to them.
Roy Hodgson's first signing for Liverpool was Paul Koscielny, wasn't it? So that goes to tell you. And then he brought in that Dutch lad, or Danish lad, didn't he? The midfielder. I can't even remember his name. He doesn't deserve Christian Poulsen. I mean, my God.
It was the worst signing Liverpool ever made. Go on, give us a few names. Colin has gone through a few there now, good ones.
No, but some of the names he mentioned now are definitely poor, all right. That's a few years. They're signing well at the minute, aren't they? That's the main thing.
Roy Hodgson, though, is a good manager. Like, he's done well, he has experience, and he still plays Benteke. So whatever the hell Benteke has on them, he must have something on them. Seriously, though.
He must have a very, very good agent that says he has to play every week.
Yeah, there is no option, but there must be somebody better. Like, there has.
I'd give a young lad a go.
Alan Reynolds would be better than that. I'd give anybody a better. Adam, you'd be up front there. You'd knock in a few.
I'd knock in a few. Backheeled a couple of my time. Yeah, in 5-a-side now, I have to say.
But I mean, he's probably on about 40 grand a week. Maybe I'm being generous there. He could be on more.
Double again, I'd say. Yeah.
You're going to let that sit on the bench. And
but the problem, I think, and listen to Jose was on Sky there today, and the biggest problem with all these clubs, especially Man United, and he was there for the Sanchez deal, you can't get rid of the players. They're on huge wages. That's why you're seeing so many loan moves at the moment, because they're loaning him out and saying, well, look, he might have a good season. Do you know what I mean? And
pay some of it.
And that's become huge.
Like, if you got somebody from England, we'll give you a percentage of it.
But
there might be a clause in it then that he's got to play. Or if he doesn't play, there's a penalty of so much money, like. So you find me playing.
Yeah.
I don't know Benteke.
You don't have any Bentekes on your team at the minute. No, you're all right there. Tell us any other results. Spurs looked okay, shaky at the start. Villa weren't bad. Grealish.
I don't see this Jack Grealish thing. I've seen him in the Championship last year.
He gave a lot of balls away.
He was playing with his hair for most of the game.
Yeah.
Villa, I think actually of the teams that came up, I know they had a lot of signings, but they look tasty enough. A couple of the players they tried to play. Your man McGinn in the midfield looks very, very good. 24, 25 is all he is. Got the goal early. Tyrone Mings made a hash of the first goal.
He did.
And he cost them 20 million. Again, crazy money. But Spurs came into their own the second half, and Harry Kane got a goal in August, which he doesn't usually do. So
he looks like he's back to fitness. He has problems with his ankle and his feet for the last few years. So if they can keep him fit, he's class. He's class.
He's a goal scorer,
And Eriksen, I don't know what he's going to do with Eriksen. Obviously, maybe there's not a full game in Eriksen, Colin.
Well,
he looked pissed off when he came on. He kind of just looked like a fellow going, I have no interest in this.
Eriksen?
I don't know, actually.
Mid 27, 28, is he?
Yeah, he can't be much older.
But when he came on, he made a difference. He made a good difference, He
could go, could he, this week? Do you think?
Spain, I think the window is still open in Spain, isn't it? Another 2 weeks.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Daniel Levy seemed like the type of guy that would leave a star player go without having somebody to come back in, though. I know he likes that money, but I mean, he needs, with that new stadium, they need to be in the Champions League every year, so I think it would be a massive risk to let Christian Eriksen go.
I was trumpeting Leicester the other day, a few others were as well. 0-0, not great at home, but Wolves are not a bad team.
He had a good year last year, yeah. I like Brendan Rodgers now. I think he could. It doesn't help, I suppose, losing Maguire and all these ones, but he might surprise. He's done well at Celtic, but it'll be a different ball game here.
And Man City, we haven't even mentioned poor old Man City, Adam.
They were excellent. Damien on Saturday. West Ham were very poor, to be honest with you. They looked like they were a bit of a fright going on at home. As soon as City got the first goal, it was over, really. It was how much it could have been. But I thought the big thing was Sterling. He looks incredible again this year. He really looks like a guy is focused and everything else. Got 3. I think 1 was ruled out with VAR.
Yeah. What do you think of the VAR thing over the weekend? I was looking at the stats.
I'm not a fan of this VAR thing, but I don't know. It seems to slow up the game a lot,
The stats were showing that it got all the decisions right. It reviewed 49 checks and all that sort of stuff. It was only 2 decisions that were actually delayed. So, and again, it's a work in process. What do you think of it, Ren?
I would have preferred if it wasn't in. What was wrong with the way it's been for the last 100 years, But
Injustice. Lads, if he's saying, Janie, come
Thierry
on.
Henry. Could have done with it for that. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. If it stops the game, I've seen some of the games last year and it was stopping constantly. The game's got to flow and get up to a high tempo.
The ref is not going to go over to a little screen to look at it, so that's gone. So it's going to be literally a lot quicker. And it's still only its first year. What do you think of it, Colin? You in favour of it?
Like I said on the last podcast, Damien, I am a big fan of it. And I come from a background of being a big fan of American sports, so like the NFL and NBA, which have been using it for a long time. To be fair, all of us follow the Irish rugby team. It's implemented in rugby for union for a long time. Nobody really complains about it then. And
but those games, maybe those games are a lot more stop-start, whereas soccer, football is a lot more flowing.
What game you're watching? If the ball's going out for a throw-in every 5 minutes, or football is a lot more stop-start than people think. Not every team is Barcelona, but you said yourself 100% of the decisions were correct. And that's exactly what you want. There's a lot on the line in football. The likes of Thierry Henry, I know we joke about it, but I mean, if it was around then, we would have been going to a World Cup. There's probably lots of people that got promoted or relegated and all sorts because of bad decisions all through the history. So why not have something in that stops all that happening?
I know they're talking about if you're offside, you're offside, but if you're a millimetre offside, you have this, we have the traditional thing, Alan, that the ref would sort of give advantage to the striker or whatever.
Well, that City one now, I mean... Yeah, I don't even a ruler wouldn't have even covered it. I don't know how they call it.
Even to catch it, I don't know how they do it. But
I mean, I believe the technology, but it looked fair.
You don't get any wrong, do you? Think all the decisions. Was there something last year where the camera wasn't on the right?
That's right, on the right line. Yeah.
There was a cup semi-final or something like that. And if you had the camera at a different angle, it showed that it was offside. If this starts happening and going on, then
what do you think of Mourinho talking about the top 4? And he said on Sky there today. What do you say? Man City,
Spurs, Liverpool,
Spurs, and Man City
B. Yeah,
he's
great.
Right,
he's great at taking the piss, isn't he? He said that in Old Trafford in the studio today. What do you think of that?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Probably telling the truth now, mind you, with the strength they have.
If they did play their second 11, they would finish in the top 4.
Is there a bit of tongue in cheek though? Like he's obviously saying that in Old Trafford to really get at.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's probably more to it with him anyway.
Man City's B team is not bad.
Man City's B team is probably would finish in the top 10 anyway.
Make top 4 now.
No, well, top just outside the 4th spot.
What
do you think of Pogba, Alan?
What do I think of him? I don't think too much of him. I think he turns up in some games, doesn't turn up in others, and not worth all the hype. I'm not sure what he's like in the dressing room. You know, the vibes coming out isn't great. I think he needs to deliver in the bigger games, but I think United are poor, so they need better players in to help him, and we'll see. But
the stats show from last year he was their most important player in lots of respects, and yet he's the player that takes more touches on the ball in possession than any other player. So there's lots of
and I suppose finding his best position as well is. What is his best position? Sometimes it's beside another holding midfielder or play him advanced in a 10 or whatever. So it's to try and find that and play him in it.
I'd say he'd annoy the tits out of you.
No, he wouldn't. I'd show him the door, get rid of him. No, I sure I get away with him.
We were just talking, Colin, how do you play Pogba? Like, you start him in a 2 at the back, we got 4-2-3-1 or whatever. Then if he's going forward, he is a threat. And that was shown in the second half.
Yeah, for me, every time he got a touch on the ball today in midfield and he was challenged, he lost the ball. Every single time. And people were in 5 yards of him and he turned into them or passed it into them. But as soon as he got into space, 2 opportunities he had to put in a slide rule pass. And he played in 2 beautiful passes and 2 great goals.
The higher up the pitch, the better.
Basically, give him, like I said to you, like play him in maybe a number 10 behind the striker, or just give him a free role up top. I don't know, but you can't give him any responsibility to track back, make tackles, be in the nitty gritty of it.
I think with Juventus, before he signed, he played on the left. Actually,
right.
Not one of the 2. He played in the left in there,
and he had Andre Pirlo there to pass the ball to him in space.
You look at him; they sign him because he was so good in this position. Then you sign him and you play him in a different position. Where's the logic in it? If that's where he's good, play him there. That's where you've signed him.
But I think with that, there was a bit of a flex in the muscles with United as well at the time. They were going, we can get a big player. Because everyone was going to City or Liverpool at the time. And with Pogba, the big name, they were bringing him back. There was a bit of a backstory there. Like Ferguson himself fell out and everything else. And he was going to be the new leader. It just didn't work last year. He looks lazy at all times. Even on the ball, he looks like a guy who just go, take it.
Style,
It's not a great story for Man United when you leave a guy go for free and then you end up spending, 90 million to bring him back, and then he ends up being a flop again. It is. It's embarrassing for a club like Manchester United who hold themselves to a much higher standard and deserve to after their previous dominance.
As we said earlier, first day, you can't tell an awful lot. It's not the day you're going to win the league or anything like that, but we do have City did not do anything bad. That was potentially a banana skin. You said it here the other day against West Ham. West Ham didn't show up. Liverpool were just phenomenal. But again,
for 40 minutes.
If Norwich had a midfield goal scorer, there could have been 4-4.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
That guy Pukki up front looks good actually. Again, he's able to
a couple of chances
chances, he'd be worth an outshot on the fantasy football. I'm not even going to mention Burnley because I hate Burnley. But anyway, they got a good
pragmatic
result. Good result.
They're effective, aren't they?
Stop.
Oh my God.
Sean Dice.
Sean.
The
results.
Sean needs a cough suite, I think.
He's a good man to get results, isn't he?
Phenomenal.
Plays a different way again with 2 strikers, which not many do.
Yeah.
And
2 very similar strikers.
You
normally go for a variety. No, 2 exactly the same. They're cloned.
And plays really a good style. That suits them. You're talking about the direct football, I suppose, is a bit of that to them, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're a handful, those do.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see the likes of Arsenal's team coming up against Burnley now on a difficult day and see how it goes like that.
On a wet Wednesday night in Burnley.
Yeah.
Alan Martin, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Look forward to the next round. And Colin, thank you very much.
Thanks, Damien.
Alan Reynolds, best of luck.
Thanks very much.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
And see if there's any Pogbas in your dressing room now when you go back during this week.
I wish there was.